Hey guys, today we are going to talk about the cost of living in the UK. It's important to remember that the cost of living dramatically changes depending on where in the UK you are looking. The north of England is far cheaper than the south of England. And then of course, regions or cities like London is super expensive, but I'm going to share what I spend monthly as an expat living in Kent in the southeast of England, and hopefully this can give you a general idea. Now, first up, we have rent, which is typically going to be your largest monthly cost. This is a 4-bed property in Kent, and the monthly rent is £1,400. Now, my partner and I live here, so we split the rent. So each month I am paying £700. Now, £1,400 per month may be extremely expensive compared to other parts of the UK, but it also might be extremely cheap compared to others. So take that number with a grain of salt. For comparison, the last property I was in was a 2-bed flat. It was way smaller than this property, but we did have a balcony and a backyard. So pros and cons, but that smaller 2-bed property was £1,200 per calendar month. Next up, we have internet. So because my partner and I both work from home, and reliable, extremely fast internet is extremely important to us, we pay on the upper end, which is £60 per calendar month. Split between the two of us is £30. Next up, we have transportation. So this is a little bit tricky depending on what your situation is like. I am not going to include car costs in this estimate because that is just a separate beast entirely. I will have a separate video on car costs. However, we still need to budget for some type of transportation. Now for me, for many years, I was taking the bus to and from work. So my monthly bus ticket was £70. So that £70 bus ticket gave me unlimited travel within that particular region. So I could get to work, I could get home from work, but I could also do stuff at night or on the weekends as long as it was in that region. Next up, we have water. So our water roughly is about £100 per month. So split between two people is £50. We also have electricity. So we on average are about £120 per calendar month. Again, split between two people is £60. We also pay for gas, which roughly is about £100 per month. Split between two people is £50. Now, gas for us will change drastically because our heating, our radiators are powered by gas. So in the wintertime, it is way more expensive. And of course, in the summertime, when we are not using our radiators, it's a lot cheaper. It's also important to remember that because we both work from home, the house is constantly on. So we are constantly using electricity and gas and water and all that kind of stuff because we are never away at work. So our figures might be a little bit higher just because we are constantly here. Next up, we have groceries. So on average, between us, we spend about £400 per month on groceries. Now, you could go higher, but you could definitely do this cheaper. But in my humble opinion, I love to eat. So I budget a bit more money into groceries each month. I love trying new foods. I love being able to buy interesting foods. So we do spend a little bit more here than we could. We could definitely get by on spending less, but I'd rather not. So monthly, I end up spending about £200 each month on food. Another cost you should be aware of are prescriptions. Now, perhaps you don't have any, which is fabulous. If you do, that's something you need to budget for. Thankfully, they are very reasonably priced here in the UK. In England, I am paying about £9.35 per prescription item. So if you had 2 items, you'd be paying that $9.35 for each. It's also important to remember things like contraception, like birth control, are free, so you don't need to pay for it. Now, a cost that a lot of foreigners maybe don't know about or don't think about is council tax. Now, council tax is unavoidable. For us, it's about £120 per month. Split between the two of us is £60. Now, this tax is not paid to our landlord or to our letting agency, but it's paid directly to the council. And from my understanding, it's typically done by like the size of the property. So if you're in a larger home, the council tax is higher. So the council will give you a price that you need to pay. It isn't always monthly. Like maybe you pay it in one lump sum, maybe you pay it over a course of 10 months is kind of an awkward price, but when you sort of space it out over a 12-month period, we are typically paying about £60. Another cost I have each month is my mobile plan. So for that, I pay £10. I get unlimited text, talk, and about 10 gigabytes of data. All for £10, which is awesome. Another cost you need to keep in mind is a TV license. Yes, you need a license to watch live TV. Not something that I'd ever heard about before I moved to the UK. So right now, this license is £159 per year. Such a random number, which works out to be about £6.60 for each of us each month. If you are not going to watch live TV, then you don't need a TV license, but I'll put a link in the description so you can read more about it. Now, all of those sort of essential costs roughly bring us to £1,245.95. Now, of course, all of these costs are split between two people. So that is the cost that I am paying and my partner is paying the same. It can be really difficult to afford to live in a property by yourself when you are forced to cover all of the costs by yourself. So I think in most cases, you are either going to be living with a partner or a friend or a roommate, a housemate of some type. Now, I do have some extra costs just to keep in mind because, you know, maybe you want to live a little bit. So these are things like, say you want to get a takeaway. So I've budgeted 3 takeaways per month, split between me and my partner, is about £30 each. I also have a unlimited cinema card. So a lot of the cinemas will have like a membership where you pay a monthly cost and you can basically get unlimited cinema tickets and you get like discounted popcorn and all that kind of stuff. So mine currently is £16.50 per month. I also have coffee 3 times a month for about £9. And I have a pint twice a month, about £7. It is really important to remember that prices for things like cinema tickets or coffee or pints or like going out to dinner are way more expensive in London. The last time I was in London and I got like a fancy cocktail and it ended up being like £15, which made me want to cry. But if you are going to be living in this city, you do need to budget more for those types of extras. So in total, including our essential costs, plus a couple bit of extras, we're looking roughly monthly per person, about £1,308.45. Now, it's one thing to have a general understanding of what your monthly costs might look like, but it is another thing entirely to budget for them. And please, please, having a budget as an expat is absolutely vital. Make sure to check out this video where I show you how to structure your budget and how to plan for these costs. If you have any questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll see you in the next one.